looks like Santa's on his way. Thank you for all of you for being here tonight. A very special tree lighting on our 100-year anniversary for Royal Oak. With us tonight, I just want to recognize some of my colleagues here in the Royal Oak City Commission. We have Commissioner Monica Hunt, Commissioner Melanie Macy, Commissioner Brandon Colo, Commissioner Charlene Douglas, and Commissioner Kyle Dubach. But most importantly, we have Santa Claus! Welcome.
Is this Royal Oak? Because I've traveled so far to come see you today, and I hear it's a special day. It's the 100th Centennial Anniversary of Royal Oak, is that right? Okay, well I'm so happy to be here, and I just want to say, I hope everyone's being safe. Santa's got his mask too. I'm trying to keep it on here, there we go. And on the count of three, whoa, there, ho, 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 ho. On the count of three, can I get everyone to say Merry Christmas? 1, 2, 3. Ho, 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 ho. And I want you all to know that after we light the tree, Santa Claus is going to be inside on the second floor here. So we can do a kringle mingle, and all the boys and girls can say hi to Santa, and you can come and get a picture with me. How does that sound, boys and girls? And Mayor, would you like to say something here?
Santa, on behalf of the city of Royal Oak, we can't thank you enough for taking time out of your very busy schedule to make it down here to Royal Oak and help celebrate our 100-year anniversary and help us light our Christmas tree tonight. Thank you so much, Santa.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy. I'm going to see that tree light in just a minute, right?
We are. Right before Santa, we do have another special guest with us here tonight to celebrate both Christmas and our 100-year anniversary. Mary Beth Fitzpatrick, Superintendent of Royal Oak Public Schools.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So we have over 5,000 students who represent Royal Oak Schools, and while all of the names are not on this banner, many of our students had a chance to sign it, and we'd like to present this giant birthday card to the city of Royal Oak. Happy 100 years and many more, and happy holidays. Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you. And now our fantastic drumline mayor, I think, is going to help you out here.
Wonderful, wonderful. I didn't see my name on there. I thought that was the nice list. So, well, I'll tell you what, we have a lot of great festivities here tonight. Like Santa said, we're going to have a little Santa Mingle session in our new police building. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, come there. Come see Santa. Come see the new police station. We got stuff going on in the farmers market and, of course, City Hall. So it's a nice night, nice weather. Mask up inside. And right now, what I'm going to do is, Santa, if it's all right with you, I'm going to ask the drum roll. Since it's 23 days to Christmas, let's count down from 23. Is everyone on board with that? All right. All right, you guys ready? Go. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How beautiful. All right, we'll see everyone around. Let's have some fun.
Merry Christmas!
working on, we just started individually with sketches and sketches and sketches, and then we'd get together and say, no, that's not good, no, that's good, that's good, that's good. And we kind of combined features.
Yeah, but you did the composition.
Yeah, so I kind of did the initial
She did
sketch, and then Lori had individual sketches and drawings of these kind of figures and these historic figures, so then I kind of combined them all. And I know she wanted a big tree, and I did too, so I brought it to her, and then we refined it. Then we got it on big paper. We went to Kinko's and got it printed on a big paper, and then
That was our roadmap.
That was our roadmap. Then we worked from that. Then we could reduce it to smaller, and we had to assemble it and number it. And we had to number all these because it looks like you could put it back together, but one piece could look like another.
These are all numbered. Every piece is numbered, so it's our giant COVID-19 puzzle. I mean, it is quite an undertaking to put all these pieces back in order. And if we didn't have a numbering system, it would be terrible. So we have this. This is a very important copy because it shows all the numbering system and where every piece goes.
Yeah, like our little map. So if we were working with paint and you made a mistake, you could paint over it. But with the clay, you sculpt it, you paint it, and if it does not turn out, then you have backups. Like we tried to have 2 or 3 backups to paint if one wasn't to our specs.
Yeah, because we made molds of all the.
Yeah, we made molds because we knew with clay it's very volatile. You could make this and it could warp up like a cup, depending on the temperature, the kiln. You know, just a lot of variables.
Yeah, there's just so many things like that I didn't know. Like Sherman Stevens, who's an early. He was. He came into Royal Oak and bought plots of land, and he was responsible to bring the steam engine through Royal Oak, and that created a lot of commerce, or the ability to have commerce. So he had plots of land, and he gave some of it away to like the Baptist church. So he kind of created the downtown, which, you know, the downtown that we know, that area. You know, and I think as we move along and we're you know, progressing into this new phase of Royal Oak and building this big, wonderful complex, a lot of people, you know, it's been controversial, and a lot of people really are full of history, and they know the Royal Oak's history, and we too want to preserve it, and we want to honor what our city has come from. So I think that it kind of ties Royal Oak's past with what's happening now, and to have it go into the new building, I think is kind of a way to join, you know, what has been and honoring that with what's happening now. So I mean, I'm happy that we decided to go the route of researching and learning about early Royal Oak history. It was kind of fun. It was kind of fun to do that. So we, you know, there are a lot of things I didn't know about early Royal Oak. Yeah. And we learned a lot as we researched. A lot of the characters so they were early settlers of Royal Oak, and they had a lot of ingenuity and talent, and they brought a lot of their skills to Royal Oak. One of them is Orson Starr over here, and he's standing on a cow because he was a bell maker, and he brought his skills in the early 1800s from upstate New York, and he began this. He's one of the first businesses in Royal Oak creating these bells, 7 different types of bells, and then his son actually created a brick and tile factory. Is that he actually sold bells in Cuba and into Canada, and so he was really proud of his bells, and they were made out of different types of metal, different. So we really wanted to get him in, but then he, you know, provided a lot of jobs in Royal Oak, and jobs to Elizabeth and Gilbert Hammer, who were early descendants of Royal Oak. They came and moved into their house. They moved it on their property in 1865. They were here before that, but when they actually created a residence on 7 acres, it was in 1865. Lakeisha Morrison was on Facebook, and I joined all these Facebook pages because because I wanted to hook up with people that had Royal Oak history, and she said that she was leading these peaceful protests for Black Lives Matter, and she said, "I'm a proud descendant of early Royal Oak," and I knew right away who she was, and so she was kind of like the missing piece. So we quickly communicated with her and developed imagery, and her face is our model for Elizabeth, because we didn't have a good picture of Elizabeth. Yeah.
I posed as a younger version of my grandmother, Elizabeth Hamer. Her husband is Gilbert Hamer. They escaped slavery from Kentucky and settled in Royal Oak and established a family and a home and worked. And they worked alongside with Almond Star, making bells and cement blocks. The baby that she's carrying in her arms is her son, Charles. So they kind of came from Canada and came to Royal Oak with him in his arms, in her arms, and established home. So when they came to Royal Oak, they were the first Black Americans in Royal Oak. So I call myself Royal Oak royalty because, you know, they established a life for me here. And being the first Black Americans in this beautiful city, I feel very privileged to be here and still live here. From what I'm understanding, we are the longest living Black family in Royal Oak, and I'm so proud of that. Growing up, my father instilled in us that we need to continue to say her name, which is Elizabeth Hamer, and just be very appreciative of what they started and left behind. We still have property in Royal Oak, and we plan on keeping it for a very long time because, you know, they worked very hard to get what they got and to pass it down to family. And every Saturday, my father would wake us up and give us a little bit of history, and I'm so appreciative of that, and I want to continue to make them proud. And I think I'm doing a great job so far, and I am so appreciative to have Royal Oak acknowledge us as the first Black family in Royal Oak. I carry this picture with me because this is my father, Keith Wilkins. He passed away 4 weeks ago, and I carry him with me in my heart and along with me in this picture because without him I wouldn't know the knowledge I have right now. And I'm so appreciative of him, and I'm so blessed to have him in my life, and so blessed to have Royal Oak acknowledge his strong and love for Royal Oak through us. So.
I grew up in Royal Oak. I've always lived here, and I've always known about the bells, but I didn't know how to get one. And for whatever reason, I wanted one. I wanted one bad. It took me a year and a half. But in that year and a half, I was able to do a lot of research and find a lot of really interesting things about these bells. I mean, they're not just animal bells. They are Royal Oak's history. I know this is crazy. It's making me weepy, but it is such a good part of Royal Oak history. Everybody should know about it. And my thought was, everybody should own one that lives in Royal Oak. So anyway, I got this bell finally after a year and a half, and I was so excited you would have thought that I won the lottery. And soon after that, I went out for breakfast with my sister and my brother, and I brought the bell with me, and I was telling them the story about it and how I got it, and I was so excited. And they just kind of looked at me like, are you kidding me? So I just thought, oh, okay, yeah, you need to put this away and we'll talk about other things. So we did. And the next day I get a phone call, and it's from my brother. And he says, hey, I went home and I looked up these Orson Star bells, and did you know that they were Royal Oak's first manufacturing, the first industry? And I said, yeah, I did know that. And he said, did you know that they hired that Orson Star hired some free slaves to work on these? I said, no, I didn't know that, which I did because I had researched it. And then he gave me a couple other facts that he thought were just fascinating. And I said, yeah, I did know all that. And so he said, well, you know what? I want one of those. So I hung up the phone with him, and I had to call my sister right away and say, you're not going to believe this, but I just talked to our brother, and this is what he had to say. And she was just real quiet listening. And when I got done, she said, well, I want one of those bells. And I said, what do you mean you want one of those bells? And she goes, well, yeah, I get together with my grade school kids. We all went to Royal Oak schools. And, you know, Judge Moore, he grew up in Vincetta. He lives right down the street. It would be a hoot for him to see it. So, but I thought the story was so funny that I started telling some friends, and they started saying, well, I want one. So the one thing that everybody that wanted a bell had in common was they wanted them for different reasons, but the one thing they had in common was everybody had a little piece of Royal Oak in their heart. When I started collecting, I thought, I want these bells to stay in Royal Oak. They're hard to find. I don't want them to go back out there. And these were coming home. So then I had 3 more left over, and I thought, oh, you know what? Royal Oak built a brand new City Hall. They need one at the City Hall. So I called City Hall and I talked to a really nice Judy Davids, and she told me that yes, absolutely they would love to have one. And I said, well, what about the library? I think the library needs one. She said, you know what? I'm going to have a call with them today. I'll call and ask them. So she did, and they said, yes, they would love to have one, except they don't have any place to house it permanently. So I said, well, okay, then we'll just, donate them to the City Hall. But if the Royal Oak Library ever gets somewhere that they could permanently house it, I know someone who was a librarian that would be absolutely happy and thrilled to have her bell donated to the library. It's my sister, who was also a librarian. So they should keep that in mind.
Gentlemen of the fine city of Royal Oak, good evening. Hello. Come on over. We're going to have a fun time this evening. My name is Ed Nahat, and I'm your MC for the evening, a lifelong Royal Oaker, and I'm so proud to be here this evening to celebrate our 100th anniversary. Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me all right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let me test it over here. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's great. I'm going to stay here. Well, we have the horse-drawn carriage, and we just forgot the pooper scoopers.
Oh, boy.
Anybody want to help out in that department?
No, man.
We're so glad to have you this evening. We're going to start this evening. Before the ceremony, we're going to have a fun play that the people of Shakespeare Royal Oak have cooked up for you, and you'll learn all about our pioneers, people who were here before there was electronics and planes and big buildings and space heaters, people who made Royal Oak happen 200 more years ago than now. I want to introduce them to you today. They're coming from all different parts and all different times, and they're here to visit with you right now. Welcome to Bricks and Branches, Royal Oak.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What are you people wearing? I must advise you that you are not properly dressed for this occasion. Royal Oak's 100th centennial celebration is an auspicious occasion, may I say, and calls for formal attire. You, sir! Yes, you! That hat that you're wearing is nothing more than a rag. And you, ma'am there, where is your parasol and muffler? Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Louis Cass. That's Cass, as in Cass Lake, Cass County, Cass Avenue, Cass Tech, Cass Corridor. I don't know what happened there. Elizabeth Lake, just north of here, was named after my lovely wife, Elizabeth. You get the idea. In my day, we did a lot of naming. Sometimes we name things after ourselves. Well, okay. More than just sometimes. Now, Woodward is named after some judge. Long, ugly beard. Well, you would have done the same thing if you were there. In fact, I named Oakland County. I even gave your little town here its name. That's right, I named Royal Oak. Whoa. Yes, I did. You see, in 1813, President James Madison ordered me, Louis Cass, to tame the wild frontier of Michigan, and I humbly accepted the task. The U.S. survey of 1860 advised us that this locality was a vast wilderness, a tangled morass and swamp, a forbidden country unsuitable for human habitation. They said that this place was unfit for civilization and would remain forever in the possession of wild beasts and aborigines. Well, their words, not mine. I know it still seems that way some days on Woodward Avenue. But I set out to prove those Washington bureaucrats wrong. It was 1818. Well, maybe it was 1819. I can't really remember. Anyway, our party struck forth from a little fort called Detroit. That's a French name, I'm sorry to say. They came here before us, but they didn't stay long. The 7-Year War. Anyway, it was our first day out of Detroit, and we floundered half the day as our horses sank knee-deep in the mud. It was worse than I-75 at rush hour. But we finally emerged upon a smooth, open space under the spreading, majestic tree. I brought to mind Prince Charles. Oh, no, not that Prince Charles. The real Prince Charles, the one who actually became king. Well, the real Prince Charles had escaped his dastardly Cromwell enemies by hiding in the upper branches of such a tree. I don't know why he was hiding in a tree and not fighting his enemies, but that's another question altogether. Now, being protected in the shade of that majestic oak, like Prince Charles before me, I declared, this is truly a royal oak.
Yeah.
As in royalty. Get it? Anyway, the name stuck. And even though that beautiful tree from 1818 or 1819, I'm not sure which, is long gone, the spirit of that old tree is alive here now. You all are branches of that tree. Who wrote this stuff anyway? And for the honor of having me here to celebrate Royal Oak's 100th year, I have agreed to make sure you understand that Royal Oak was named by someone exceptional, someone brave and daring, a commensurate dresser, or consummate dresser, a man named, well, me. I mean, Lewis Cass. I'll be here all evening, and after all, what else do I have to do? I've already named everything else.
Wow! How do y'all do? What a delight it is to be here. Excuse me, sir. Are you actually Lewis Cass, the 2nd Territorial Governor of Michigan?
I am, milady.
Tell me, what in creation are you wearing?
A proper dress uniform, ma'am, for formal occasions such as this. And may I inquire after your name?
My name? Ah, yes, my name. I understand that names are important to you. I must collect myself for a proper introduction to you and all your friends here.
Well, I don't know their names either.
Good evening, General Cass, and to you, ladies and gentlemen of Royal Oak. My name is Elizabeth Briggs. I have an abiding affection for this lovely little town. You see, I was the first professional librarian to receive appointment in Royal Oak back in 1916. That's right. We were just a little village then. Did you know that before I was hired, people kept the town library in their own homes? Indeed, a simpler time. Our first pioneers began to cut farms here in early 1800. In fact, in 1820, the United States government listed the entire population of all of Oakland County.
Oakland County! I named that.
Yes. Well, the entire county was only 330 persons in 1820. By 1825, only 5 years later, the number had jumped to nearly 4,000. And you thought Starbucks was crowded. Royal Oak became a township in 1832, even before Michigan was a state. Mr. Sherman Stevens came here in 1835 and purchased 80 acres of land. All this downtown land, he had stock in the railroad company, you know. And he knew a little bit about where that train might be heading, like right over there. Back in, let's see, yes he did. Mr. Stevens planted the whole downtown area that we share today, way back in 1838. And he had a vision for the lovely avenues and wide alleyways that people still enjoy today, especially when there aren't those orange barrels and those large beeping shovels in the street. I mean, what are those? The railroad went all the way up the Saginaw Turnpike. That's what you call Woodward Avenue. In 1891, people up there in Birmingham scoffed at our effort to become a village. They called Royal Oak a town of sand because there was this great sand ridge between us and what is now called Huntington Woods. Think of it. One man named Charles Allen carried around all around Royal Oak a petition in his pocket for weeks, gathering signatures in this town of 400 souls. So many families made Royal Oak come to life in those early years. Too many to name here. So, in 1929, I suggested that Royal Oak Library began to collect historical material, even before we were a city. Over the years, I've seen this town grow like a beautiful tree. Some people claim it was better in the old days.
I do.
I'm not so sure. You have so many things here to be proud of. You're making history now, even in these turbulent times. This beautiful new park is a fine example. And there are exceptional new projects being built right now that bring new people into this city. There have been wonderful additions to Royal Oak since the days of yore. You all have wonderful restaurants and outdoor events, so many lovely parks, as well as vibrant and active charities and church organizations all across the Royal Oak landscape. The schools and other community groups are teaching your children lessons and skills in the arts and in sports and sciences, all the things they need to know. And they've added to this rich tapestry of life in Royal Oak. And here you all are, celebrating the past and making your own 100th anniversary right now. So, it is my considered opinion that you, my friends in Royal Oak, are living in the good old days right now.
Yeah, Miss
Briggs, resident librarian. It's been an honor to meet you, sir.
Yes, it has, Miss Big Briggs. I was just taking a look around at what Royal Oak has become.
I'm interested in your impression of this little town of ours now.
First, they do not know how to dress. But they do have indoor plumbing and something called central air.
Ooh, they have a symphonic orchestra and yoga classes.
What's a yoga? And it's so crowded. I mean, the woods are all filled up with houses and some very tall monstrosities called condos.
But is that not what you set out to do, General? Did you not wish to introduce civilization to the wilderness?
Well, not like this. I dreamt of a vast agricultural landscape with a vibrant central town for trade, horse and carriages, and maybe a train, but these huge ditches they call freeways, they're not human.
What? Well, we do have a farmer's market.
But no farms that the eye can see. I say it was better in the old days.
If that's so, I wonder why all these people love this town now, as it is. Did you know, General, that the life expectancy of people has increased dramatically in this century? Surely the man of your stature can respect that.
You know, you remind me of my lovely wife, Elizabeth.
Oh, why, that's my Christian name.
Really? Were you named after her?
I don't think so, Governor. Governor, I wonder if we could promenade through this new Centennial Commons. As we do, perhaps I can edify your mind as to the variety and depth of Royal Oak's diverse developments. And since your pioneer days.
Well, I don't know what you just said, but I will be honored to escort you anyway.
Name Star. Almond Star. You can call me Almond.
Hey,
Some
Owen.
people, thank you. Some people call me John Almond Star. That's okay too. I build bricks. Make them. My father, Orson Starr, came around these parts in 1826. Before I was born, he made bells. Unlike some fancy dressed up governors who claim to be pioneers, my father stayed here, right here in Royal Oak, and put down roots. Now my grandfather, Vine Starr, came to Michigan even before that time. He was a soldier for the Revolution, unlike some pretend Napoleons I might know. Yeah. When I was a boy in Royal Oak, we ran through the fields, waded barefoot in the Red Run stream. That's right, there was a stream there then. It's called Vincenta now. We hauled corn and wild huckleberries and ate cranberries. We hunted wild ducks and rabbits and, yeah, I'm talking here. We killed them with our bare hands. When we walked to the schoolhouse, there were bears and rattlesnakes in these woods. It was paradise. I tell you, there were so many trees. And they were so big. The biggest one I saw fell during a storm. It was as big as that zoo tower you have out there now. And a friend I know counted the rings in it. There were he said it was plumb 2,000 years old. The only problem was, in my day, all these houses were made of that wood, and some of them burned down. Even Johnson Sawmill, they cut all the wood for those houses, burned to the ground. It was a hard time. So there was quite a commotion around here when I went into the brick making business in 1866. Some people say 1868, it doesn't really matter. But I made all the bricks in this town. For the churches, the old schools, the city hall, unlike that glass thing you got over there now. I built the house up there on Crooks and the 13 Mile. You know where that is? Some people told me you can't build a house up there because it's right smack in the middle of an Indian trail. I said, well, that's all right. They could go around it. Won't matter to me. I always loved that old house. Bunch of lawyers living there now. I mean, there goes the neighborhood, right?
Mr. Starr! Hello!
It's Elizabeth Hamer, as I live and breathe.
What a wonder to see you, Mr. Starr. It's been so long.
You folks know who this is? Hey, everyone. You ma'am, and sir, you know who this is?
Mr. Starr, these nice folks don't know nothing about me.
They don't? Well, they should. Everyone, let me introduce you to this is Elizabeth Hamer. She's famous around these parts. Why, in my day.
Oh, tush, Mr. Starr. Our day was a long, long time ago. Even before the war between the North and the South.
Well, of course, but that's the point. You and your husband, Gilbert Hamer, escaped slavery and came up here from Kentucky and come up here on the Underground Railroad. Now, you must admit that.
We did.
Well, don't be so modest, Mrs. Hamer. Tell these folks your family escaped slavery, how they did it, and got to Royal Oak in the 1860s. That story always inspires me.
Oh, well, if you insist.
Want me to tell it?
Oh, no, John Almond Starr. You'd exaggerated, just like the trees.
Look, I tell you, those trees are 2,000 years old.
Well, let me just say this to these fine folks. First of all, good evening to you all. I see you all celebrating 100 years as a city. What a fine time to be. My husband, Gilbert, and I, we did leave Kentucky back in 1850s, before the Civil War had started in 1861. It was a very scary trip. Like many others who left slavery behind, we find ourselves with a lot of help along the way. Good folks, white and black, all part of the abolition movement, was there for us. We slept in barns during the day, and we traveled at night, all the way up to Detroit.
You must have been so scared.
Oh, yes, we were. But you know what? We had faith. We had to. We knew in our hearts that the Lord had us in his hands. So we made it to Michigan, to Detroit, to a free state. But that wasn't enough. You see, back in those days, an owner could come up to Detroit from a slave state and demand that their escaped slave come back to them with chains. And the law would have to abide it. One time in Detroit, it was in 1839, a man came all the way up to Missouri to have his former slave arrested. Well, there was a near riot outside of the Detroit jail. Whites and blacks both demanded this man's freedom, and eventually they all got together and took up a collection and bought that man's freedom.
So Detroit wasn't safe for you even though it was free.
Oh, no, but we were very careful. We even did away with our old slavers' names, and we chose Hamer as our family name.
So they wouldn't know who to look for.
Oh, that's right. We went over to Canada for a while, but Gilbert wanted work, so he went back across the river and walked all the way up the Saginaw Turnpike. That's what you call Woodward now? All the way up to Royal Oak.
And that's when I met him.
Oh, that's right. And just in time, too, because you needed a lot of help in those days. Then, in 1865, we had finally saved up enough money and bought over 6 acres of our own land from Mr. Chase in Royal Oak. And we built our house right there.
Just south of mine. We were next door neighbors.
Oh, that's right. I'll never forget our moving day. When we opened our house for the very first time, it was the very day that I found out that Abraham Lincoln had died.
That was hard news.
Bitter and sweet.
I quite liked Abraham Lincoln. He was my kind of man.
Our old house was on the Crooks Road, where they had that big purple place with all them funny machines inside.
Ed Webster, right?
Yeah, it's called Planet something.
Purple Planet, right?
Oh, I remember now. Planet Fitness is the name.
I don't quite understand that purple place. I mean, all that work and nothing gets done.
Oh, well, that was all Hamerland there. It backed down to Red Run Creek, and our family lived there happily for many, many years.
I heard you still have family in Royal Oak.
Oh, yes, we do. In fact, my beautiful great-great-great-granddaughter is in the audience right now. Lakeisha Morrison, where are you, baby? There you are.
That makes you the longest line of living family in Royal Oak. Oh, over 150 years.
Well, you know, we don't like to brag.
Well, I'll brag for you. Like that Lewis Cass fellow. He sure knows how to brag. He's got his name all over the place.
Oh, well, we just believe in family, in doing good and staying true to community. I mean, once we were free, we stayed put here, just like you.
Coming from you, Mrs. Hamer, that's a great compliment.
You see, Governor, many talented and dedicated people have settled in Royal Oak. And they've helped build this community into what it is now. There's a rich history of industrious, creative families and individuals who have helped extend the branches of your Royal Oak. Mr. Starr?
Oh, yes? Why, it's Miss Briggs. I haven't seen you since, wait, I never knew you, did I?
No, Mr. Starr. You passed away in 1895 before I came to Royal Oak. But have you met Governor Lewis Cass?
Yeah, I've heard of you.
Yeah, you have!
You're the fellow that slept under a tree and an apple fell in his head.
Yeah, no, that was Johnny Appleseed.
Actually, that was Isaac Newton.
Oh.
I always thought you'd be taller.
Gentlemen, let's focus. Tonight we're celebrating.
What are we celebrating?
Well, all of us are here to celebrate.
To celebrate me!
No. exactly.
Huh.
We're here celebrating Royal Oak's 100th year as a city.
Well, so what? I'm 190.
John Alma's star, be nice.
Oh, Mrs. Haber, what a delight it is to see you in person.
Miss Briggs, it's my pleasure.
Miss Briggs, whatever happened to Red Run Creek?
Well, beautiful homes now stand on the banks of the former stream called Red Run.
Well, when I was a boy, we used to swim in that creek down between the Crooks and the Main.
Oh, my boys did too. So where is that creek today?
Well, Red Run still runs, only through a series of large buried pipes, big enough to drive a car through. Oh. On rainy days, you can still hear Red Run rushing under Vincetta Boulevard.
Why didn't they call it Cass Boulevard?
They named it after two developers, Mr. Vinton and Mr. Bassett, who built the Washington Square building.
Did they use my bricks?
Not entirely, I'm afraid.
But look, they build a skyscraper, stop a river, and get a street named after them. That don't seem right.
They should have called it Cass Trail. Tell me something, new people of Royal Oak. How come you don't have a street named after me? Or even a school? I mean, Detroit gave me a school and a street. And they're French.
Well, Governor.
And who's this Dondero fellow, anyway? He got a school named after him.
Well, Governor, George Dondero was the city's first mayor and our first United States congressman. He was also a little bit of an actor. I had the distinct pleasure to attend Royal Oak's Village Centennial celebration back in 1922, in which Mr. Dondero portrayed you.
He did.
And he was attired in just the fashion you are now. He rode a white steed to the site of your Royal Oak.
What do you mean, the site of my Royal Oak?
Oh, I'm sorry to tell you that old tree was cut down in 1853.
My tree? They cut it down?
Have no fear, Governor. In 1937, acorns from the original Royal Oak tree in England, the one that protected Prince Charles all those years ago, were shipped here and planted in Memorial Park. Then in 1970, one of those trees was planted near the site of your original tree.
Did you at least save me a branch of the old one?
No, Governor. For everything there is a season. What's important about history is not so much what happened.
But who made it happen?
Mrs. Hamer, maybe you can help me explain.
I will try. I suppose, General, it's that history isn't about you. Or me. It's really about what made us what we are and who we are now. It's about where we're going now just as much as where we have been. It's about all of us together.
That's right, Cass. It's not about you. It's about bricks.
And branches.
And families.
That's why we're celebrating tonight. Our little tree has grown and flourished like the majestic branches of a tree.
And bricks.
The majestic bricks of a tree?
No, not the bricks of a tree.
Branches and bricks.
Bricks and branches.
Okay. Bricks and branches. Are you satisfied now?
Oh, you boys, can you be quiet now and let the lady librarian talk?
As I was saying, Mr. Dondero rode his white steed to that old tree and reenacted your famous declaration. This truly is a royal oak.
A royal oak.
A royal oak.
A royal oak.
Oh, how my heart was stirred.
Well, he deserved to be mayor then.
Like a magnificent tree spanning across the generations, so many Royal Oakers have each contributed to this town in their own special ways. We have fine schools, sports, arts, and an excellent library, if I may say so myself. A vibrant town for young and old.
May I ask you a question, Miss Briggs?
Certainly.
What exactly is a dream cruise?
A dream cruise. A celebration of the automobile.
What's arts, beats, and eats, anyway?
A celebration of music.
Shakespeare Royal Oak.
Oh, that's an outdoor celebration of the bard.
Hey, they do that show there where I donated the land for them.
Oh, right. It's called Star J.C. Park.
Wait. You have a park named after you?
I don't need anything fancy. In my day, we had to work hard to survive. All I wanted to do was build safe houses and safe buildings for people.
Oh, yeah? Well, what about Star School, Star Market, Star Road, the Ulman Star Historical House, the Orson Star Historical House? This guy's got more things named after him than I do, and I name the place.
Oh, yeah. Well, how about John R? How'd you come up with that one?
I did not name John R.
What about 696? A number? That's a doozy of a name.
I did not name 696.
I suppose you named the farmer's market? That's original.
Oh, guys, if you don't settle down, I'm going to take you boys out to the woodshed right now.
Gentlemen, please. Let us remember we are here to celebrate the city of Royal Oak on its 100th anniversary.
I don't even own the Star Market.
Well, Governor, what do you think of your Royal Oak now?
Well, I have a suggestion or two.
What a surprise.
The Lewis Cass Centennial Park.
I'm sorry, General. The park already has a name.
Then, how about Cass Beats and Eats?
Oh, goodness.
Oktoberfest.
Mrs. Briggs, how can you be so patient when men folk get so ornery like that?
Well, I suppose it's because I never had to marry one.
Oh, ladies, can I get an amen?
Ladies and gentlemen, good people of Royal Oak, on behalf of the pioneers of yore, the ancestors of families, the developers and school teachers, the policemen and policewomen, firefighters and veterans who bravely sacrificed for freedom, it is my humble honor to congratulate you and your lovely little town on this auspicious occasion, 100 years as a city. So, let's all join in the great celebration. All together now.
This truly is a Royal Oak!
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're glad to have you this evening and enjoying our time with our pioneers. Next up on the agenda, we're going to please stand, if you're not standing, for the national anthem and Ms. Rosabelle Moody.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly beheld at the
understand there's a change in order. Are we going to unveil the sign, Gene? And we're going to have a wonderful performance with the folks standing on the hill behind me. So just have to see the lights. Okay. Can you? Oh, we're going to sing Happy Birthday to the City of Royal Oak, right? And drum roll. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. We unveiled the sign. Everyone took a picture of that. Please take a picture of the sign on your way out. But we have some speeches. A couple of really important guests are here this evening. We want to thank, of course, the Royal Oak High School drumline for their cold patience. and gentlemen, please welcome to this makeshift stage our good friend from the Downtown Park Task Force, a group that's done so much hard work for this fine facility, Mr. Frank Arvin. Come on up, Frank.
Well, thank you very much, and welcome everybody to this amazing park. You know, I live about 3 blocks that way on 5th Street, and I moved here in 1997, and I've been dreaming about this park since then, to tell you the truth. Great cities have great people places at their center, right? They don't have parking lots at the center. When I moved here, there was a parking lot with a Veterans Memorial facing an alley to the backs of buildings, and it was such a disappointment to have that in the center of our town. And so I've been working with many other people to try and have this space made for every people here, and it's just wonderful to have here. Great cities have great places at their center. Think about the piazzas of Florence or Central Park in New York, or even Detroit's Campus Martius. I know it sounds a little over the top, but I think Royal Oak has made a place here that's on par with any of those places. This was truly a communal effort, and it was brought about by visionary leaders with overwhelming support from the citizens of Royal Oak and a creative and talented design team, MKSK, which did a fabulous job, in a quality construction company. Just want to congratulate everybody for the vision and energy to make this happen. I know they'll take pride in the fact that when people visit here, everybody will have a smile on their face, and this will be a great place for people to enjoy. So have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, and enjoy the park, especially when it comes out next year.
Frank proves that in the community, we're all tomorrow's pioneers. Please welcome to the stage my good friend, the city manager, Paul Brake. Come on up, Paul.
Thanks, Ed. So, my name is Paul Brake. I have the great fortune to serve as Royal Oak City Manager. It is indeed an honor to make the presentation. I would be remiss if I did not introduce some important people that really made a difference in bringing about this project. First off, I'd like to introduce State Senator Mallory McMorrow, who's joining us. Next to her is State Representative Jim Ellison. We have Oakland County Board Chairman David Woodward. And I'd like to introduce the Mayor and City Commission. I've seen many in the audience, so I hope I call out everyone. So, of course, there's Mayor Michael Fournier, Mayor Pro Tem Melanie Macy, City Commissioner Charlene Douglas, City Commissioner Brandon Colo, City Commissioner Monica Hunt, City Commissioner Kyle DeBuck, and City Commissioner Pat Farouche. Really want to have a seat in the audience. So, going on, there's a number of individuals I'd like to recognize. Is there anyone here from the library board? If not, they've had involvement in the construction project. As introduced before, was the Downtown Park Task Force, and I know that I saw a few members that were part of that task force. Anyone here that's part of that, can you raise your hand, and so we can recognize, and Char and Kyle, thank you so much. So, the next up is the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. We have a few folks that are here from there, so Mike Rapinski, so thank you so much. So acknowledging really the individuals that have made this possible on a day-to-day, and Tom Anderson, who's with Colasani O'Brien Joint Venture. I know he's there. Thank you, Tom, for all of your hard work. I don't know, Scott Meredith, is he here this evening? No, he's not. Shaking your head. So next to him, Chris Becker, who's Plant Moraine Cressa, that's been through thick and thin through all of this. So is there anyone here from MKSK? So they are the park designers. So when you admire the beauty, they designed this, so they should be commended. we're very fortunate to have with us representatives from the Henry Ford Health Systems. First off is Doug Dietrich, who's the Vice President and COO. Mr. Dietrich, are you here? Oh, sorry. Okay, yes. And with him is Sal Lagrasso, who is a regional operations part of that health system. So we're very pleased to have Henry Ford Health System be part of the Civic Center. So that certainly should be acknowledged. So we have a number of proclamations that folks that would like to bring greetings from federal, state, as well as local. From my understanding, we have a representative from U.S. Senator Gary Peters' office, and if you could come forward and read the proclamation.
You know, someone asked me when I sat down if I would have to climb up these steps, and I laughed. And who's laughing now? Really? Thank you so much for having us. The senator's sorry he couldn't be here himself, but unfortunately we did not let him out of Washington this weekend, so apologies on that. This will be introduced on Monday and introduced formally into the Senate and go on the congressional record. Mr. President, I rise today to recognize the 100th anniversary of the city of Royal Oak, Michigan. Situated in Oakland County, Royal Oak is a city endowed with natural beauty, rich traditions, built on a strong agricultural base, and populated with dedicated citizens and entrepreneurs. The vibrant history of Royal Oak began in 1819 when it was explored by Michigan Governor Lewis Cass as part of his survey of the land that now comprises Oakland County. I think we got most of the local history in the skit, and it's a little chilly, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this proclamation and move on. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Next up, can I call up Stephanie, that's from U.S. Congressman Levin's office?
Thank you so much, City Manager. So here I present a congressional record statement for the City of Royal Oak honoring their 100th anniversary and birthday from Congressman Andy Levin. We submitted this to the House's congressional record a couple days ago, and so it is now live. I'll send over a formal digital copy as well. I do want to wish you all our warmest blessings on this wonderful day. I do wish the Congressman could be here. He was hoping to be here, but we also were trying to keep him in DC as long as possible. And so he'll be in the community as soon as he can. So thank you.
Next up, representing the state of Michigan, we have State Representative Jim Ellison, also former mayor in the city of Royal Oak, that has a proclamation from the state of Michigan. They'll be joined by State Senator Mallory McMahon.
I'll let Mallory go first. She's higher ranking in Lansing.
Oh gosh, I don't know about that at all. Hi everybody! Hi. There we go. I'm State Senator Mallory McMorrow, and I'm going to keep this super brief because beyond serving as your state senator, I'm a proud resident of this city. My husband was born here, his dad was born here, and we are so proud to be raising our daughter Noah here. And it's just a community that gets better every day, and especially after a week like this, which I think all of us are still reeling with just what has happened nearby here in Oxford. I think it's just a reminder on how important community is, and that we come together and that we have beautiful places to get away from our screens and outside of walls, and I just can't wait to see what this space does for the community. So thank you as a resident to everybody who's worked on it, worked tirelessly to make this happen for many, many years before we had a baby here, and I'm just so proud to live here and be a part of this community. So congratulations and 100 years. Don't look a day over 20.
Thank you, Noah's mom. I've got this proclamation, and I'm going to leave it with the city. It's actually an honorary tribute. But I'm going to speak more from the heart. Anybody who knows me, I grew up in this city. I've been here almost 70 years now. People have said that I bleed Royal Oak blue, and I think I do. I love this city. I've given it the best part of my adult life, 30 years, devoted to the city at various stages. And I could not be prouder of where we're at right now. I mean, I could look around and see a lot of the stuff that's been built, a lot of the stuff that's been done, and the success we've had downtown. And I can take a little bit of credit because I was there helping. But it was the businesses downtown. It was all my colleagues and the elected officials. It was all the residents of this community that made this city what it is. And this park behind us is simply nothing more than the representation of who we are and where we came from and where we're going in the future. So I am so proud that we give a tribute to the city of Royal Oak. This came down from the governor, came down from Lieutenant Governor, Senator McMorrow, and myself. And again, congratulations, City of Royal Oak. We did it.
Next up, I would like to call County Board Chairman Dave Woodward, that brings greetings. Also another Royal Oak resident.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Yes, this is great. I'm Dave Woodward, Chair of the County Board. On behalf of myself and Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter, this is a huge, huge event. What a way to cap off the first 100 years with creating a place for people to gather for the next 100. I mean, Royal Oak continues to be the moniker for vibrant downtowns, model citizen engagement, great public services, and in the mosaic of Oakland County's 62 communities, continues to be a leader to help motivate others going forward. And so, on behalf of Oakland County, I want to present this plaque, and looking forward to celebrating and opening this park and celebrating for the next 100.
All right. It's a trick light. There we go. So finally, to speak locally, it's my honor and privilege to introduce to you Royal Oak Mayor Michael Fournier.
Thank you, Mr. Brake. Thank you, community leaders, for your presentations and proclamations tonight. I'm going to ask the Royal Oak City Commission to come on up here. Let's see if we can all squeeze up here. Hard-working, dedicated volunteers in the community. I'd also like to, in attendance tonight, we also have former City Manager Don Johnson here tonight, and he was, between City Manager Johnson and City Manager Brake, this project was able to happen. So let's give a round for Mr. Johnson. I have a scroll here. I promise it's not 1,000 years old. Good evening. Thank you for being here tonight. Again, we've recognized the Royal Oak City Commission here. And on behalf of the city, I also want to recognize the efforts of staffs, citizen committees that worked so hard to bring this park to fruition. I'd also like to give a special recognition to Judy Davids. For those of you who don't know who Judy is, her title is Community Engagement Specialist. I don't know what that means. I just know her as the heart and soul of Royal Oak City Hall. So because of her and her leadership, we were able to put this centennial celebration together that is just, so special for all of us. We're here officially to dedicate this amazing park. Before we do, I just kind of want to talk about this space that we have behind us. As we know, in a couple of historical discussions that we've had tonight, that Royal Oak first became a village in 1891 when we separated from Royal Oak Township. When we were still part of the township, actually, our first library was here in 1852 in the home of the township doctor's office, and now we have, of course, our beautiful library adjacent to a beautiful park. On November 8, 1921, village voters went to the polls and voted 922 to 133 in favor of becoming a city. Just a month later, on December 12, 1921, the city of Royal Oak held its first meeting right here in the corner of Williams and 3rd, right in this area. George Dondero was our first mayor. He called the meeting to order with a gavel presented to the city by Judge Glenn Giuseppe of Pontiac, who presented on behalf of the volunteer fire department. This is the gavel that we use every 2 years when we call in the new commission. It was one we used just recently when we called to order the 51st commission. Our City Hall is abutted to this beautiful park. And back then, City Hall abutted to a beautiful park called City Hall Park. Believe it or not, all of this space, most of it anyway, around here was green space. It was a park. In 1953, we built a new City Hall. It actually housed our police department for a while. 1964, we built another building, which was the new police department at the time. And surface parking lots were put in, and eventually the city park was kind of left to really nothing more than a little patch of grass. If you guys remember, in front of the library, the grass, it was still nice, but certainly not back to what it was 100 years ago. But a number of years ago, we recognized that City Hall and the police station weren't really keeping up and required significant updating. And so after hundreds of hours of discussions, public engagement, and expert consultations, we, the people of Royal Oak, took a bold move and brought our civic space into the 21st century. We built a functional City Hall, we modernized our police station, and of course, we brought a beautiful downtown park we now call Centennial Commons. We did this together, and it was only possible because of our community came together and found a way, no matter how challenging the task. There are no words to describe how amazing this park is, but we don't need words, because each of us are standing here can feel how special this park is, how special this moment is, and how proud we are to be Royal Oakers. I thank you all for coming out here tonight. I thank all the countless volunteers over the years that made this happen. We have another 100 years to celebrate this amazing park, a beautiful community, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the festivities tonight. Take care. Have a good night. Oh, we're going to sing Happy Birthday again. Okay. All right, let's sing. You always sing Happy Birthday again? We already sang Happy Birthday. No. And our city is always fluid and agile for any situation they throw at us. We are a progressive city. All right, have a good night, everyone. Take care.